Get into the funnel with Eric Garces.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new episode to Get into the Funnel podcast. I'm your host, Eric Garces. Today, our guest is Rachel Wagner. She's professor for strategic marketing communication program at Conestoga College and current senior economic development officer with the Region of Waterloo. She has a strong background in marketing, communications, and finance. And today, we were talking about how to succeed in the marketing field. Hello, Rachel. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Rachel, our first question is, how did you get started in your career?
Absolutely. So I started my marketing career in about high school. My dad owned his own company. So from grade 8, so I guess I would have been around 12 years old, I was helping him with all of his marketing initiatives, even going to trade shows and handing out some brochures I made, talking to people. So I started my marketing career helping him. And then as soon as I was old enough, I did an internship during my high school years, just for a summer with a local company called MEDA, Mennonite Economic Development Association. So essentially I was hired on through a government grant. I was their student intern helping with marketing and communications. And through those experiences, I discovered that I really do like marketing and interacting with others and communications, and especially strategy. So that's how I started my career.
Nice to hear that. And what do you consider to be a key factor in your career?
Absolutely. So I think one of the reasons I was able to get to where I have in my career so far is definitely the mentors and my network that I've able to create. I've had some pretty strong mentors, especially some pretty strong female mentors that have led me in my career. I think also just the ability to not give up is what I would say. I remember coming out of my undergrad and applying to like 100 jobs out of my undergrad and just not giving up with frustrations and maybe getting rejections, or in your job not getting where you want to be as fast as you can. Just keep going is what I would say.
Yeah, you're. I'm totally agree with you have saying. It's not give up and never give up. And well, our audience now is marketing students, and we are, most of them are international marketing students, and we have to deal with a lot of things besides we are studying. So that's a great advice. Thank you for that. And our next question is, well, here is we were talking about the skills. So first of all, we want to talk about the hard skills. So what do you consider are the hard skills, or what are the most important hard skills for a recent marketing graduate?
I think what I've seen for individuals that are the most successful, it comes down to really two skills. The first one is actual writing and communication. You'd be surprised how many marketing professionals are not strong writers. And I think it's a huge asset to be able to be strong at writing. So I think that's definitely one hard skill that you can really work on. And the other one is now with just computers where they're at and everything going online, is really getting good with computer technology. That doesn't mean necessarily being graphic designers yourself, but it does mean understanding computers and having a strong IT computer background. You're seeing a lot of merging in most strategy, communication, marketing roles with ICT computers and the marketing role. So just getting some strong technical skills on the computer as well.
Okay, nice. And in terms of writing skills, what do you think, or how international students can practice their writing skills?
So yeah, I think volunteering to do writing for various organizations, being charged of the marketing. I also think just reading different styles and then practicing on your own. I know a lot of my interns where I work, they, on their time off, they actually just read different styles to get different backgrounds and different writing styles, so that they have a whole toolbox. So depending on where their audience is, they're able to write in different styles.
Yeah. Well, it is, as you said, it's really important to read a lot to get your writing skills. I saw how my children now here in Canada, they are, but they are learning to read in English. So it's curious how the school approach the reading skills, and you know, back in Peru, it's like, okay, you have this book and you have to read it. You have no choice. Like a kid, you don't have choice. You can choose your what you want to read. So, but here is totally different. And I think for international students, there's a lot of students that when we will be outside in the real world, working or looking for a job, I think we will be competing with other people who will raise here, and they already have all these skills developed. So I think that we have to go quickly or faster in our writing and reading skills, and that's really important. And well, yeah, I agree 100% with you. And okay, our fourth question is okay, now is soft skills. So what are those soft skills that every marketing should develop through their career?
So we're seeing right now, I deal a lot with this actually in my job. We look at what skills are up and coming and what skills we need to retrain people in. And I would say soft skills are actually one of those skills that a lot of future employers are actually lacking. So I think as a student, if you're hoping to get an edge in your career, soft skills is definitely something that you can improve. Specifically looking at things like how you deal with interpersonal, how do you network, how do you make external relations, how are you able to keep up connections, especially if you're thinking of building your career in networking. I think those skills are often underrated, and those are really important. Another skill I think, especially in our society day, is working with conflict management. So to be a good leader, to be a good employee, you're always going to have various conflicts at your work. So how you deal with those is really important. And so I think that's a soft skill that to be successful in your future career, which I'm sure you will be, you need to work on, in general, students should work on conflict management.
Yeah. Actually, I attended just 2 or 3 days ago a webinar from the college, which was the topic was conflict management, and it's part of the leadership management. So yeah, it's really important to know how to deal with that when you are working, and it's not easy to develop because you have this. You will be developing this kind of skills with your experience in the work field. So, but yeah, but maybe you can just or you can find some webinars or workshops that you can make some case studies and try to understand the situation and try to deal with kind of situations. Yep. Okay, so our fifth question is, what goals should you consider a marketing professional to achieve in their career?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer this question not specific to a marketing career, but just in general, a career. What I've found, some goals you want, and obviously they're individual goals, so they'll be dependent on each individual. But I would say just find a job that you love. It doesn't necessarily need to pay you millions of dollars, enough to maybe survive, but really find a job that you're able to learn in, and you're able to work with individuals you like and grow in your career. So for me, I think an achievement in my career was definitely one when, instead of being stressed and anxious about work, I was excited to go to work. And that's where I am in my career now. So I think that's a great goal for anyone, not just in marketing, for their career.
Yeah. Well, it makes since you get up in the morning that's another approach, right? It's totally different when you are motivated to go to your work and well, yeah, most of the people, I think, it's like they're struggling with their current jobs and they don't like it and they just make it for the money or other kind of incentives. But yeah, when you, it's like the entrepreneur, right? It's like, okay, I want to make this kind of job. I like it. It's my passion, and I will do it. So it's a good way to approach your life, your entire life, I think. Yeah. And it's a great goal, actually. Yeah, it's a great goal because there's a lot of people who well, there's a lot of international students who will be outside in the coming months, and they don't even realize how to deal with the job hunting and what they are really looking for and what kind of positions they want to be, or what kind of roles they want to be leading. So yeah, it's really important. And our sixth question is, what do you consider the biggest challenge in a marketing career?
So I see actually two challenges in a marketing career. The first one is, you kind of mentioned it before, but there are so many different career paths for a marketer, and so many different jobs have marketing in it. So I think one of the biggest challenging for the marketing career is kind of defining what you want, defining which area of marketing are you interested in, and sticking to that. Just because there are so many different marketing careers, and I would also say titles are very different depending on which organization you're at. For example, at one job, a marketing manager could be doing something completely different than another job. So it's really hard in marketing to define what your skills are and able to efficiently like explain those skills for the type of job you want. So the two challenges, the first one being there's so many different types of marketing careers and marketing in so many different jobs. So like defining and deciding what you're interested in. And then the second one being able to define your skills, because marketing isn't something like engineering or say like computer programming, where there's a lot, marketing has a lot of technical skills, but those are a little bit easier to define in like engineering. You're like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. However, marketing is a lot more of those interpersonal and those soft skills. So it's finding a way to define what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, sure. You make me remember that I recently read a job posting, and the position was conversation creator. So, and it was under the marketing umbrella in this company, and it was like a mix of social media with communication, and it was a little bit weird, I think, because the name was confusing, but you're right. There's a lot of paths that you can follow, and there's a lot of things that you can do in the marketing field because it's too broad. And now that we have social media, marketing, digital marketing, and it's like another, it's broader to this kind of companies. Yeah. So, well, our seventh question is, what things should a student consider accepting a job offer? I think that you already answered this one, but maybe you can point in it.
Yeah, I think I kind of answered it, but right now it is an employee market. So there is a labor shortage right now, which is great news for you and your student cohort that is going to be applying for jobs, is that you have a lot more bargaining power when you're applying to jobs. So I think when you're accepting or looking at jobs, you should really look at culture of the organization, making sure it's a strong culture fit and something you believe in, and also looking for growth. You don't want to necessarily take a role that you're stuck in and that you do for a year and then looking for a new position. You really want to take a role that has growth opportunity and somewhere you can see yourself for a long term.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's looking for a place where you can develop is better, right? And okay, I want to add one more question because it's related to this. And where do you consider these new marketing or recent graduate students, sorry, these recent graduate marketing students wants to, or how can I say it? Which is the better place for a marketing student or for a recent graduate? It's a big company with a small one. So
Yeah, so I've worked at both big companies such as Deloitte that has a global massive company, and I've also worked at a smaller company that has only 5 people. And I think it's a really individual choice. I will say that with a small company, you're often wearing multiple hats. You're also often doing multiple different jobs. So you're able to get a large breadth of skills. You're able to learn a lot of different skills. However, with a big company, I find you typically have people above you that are very intelligent, have lots of knowledge of the area you're learning. So there's lots of people for you to learn from. So I find you typically get more depth in a certain area. So I think it depends on what you're interested in. If you want to be, say, a certain field expert. So for example, if social media is what you're into, if you want to be a social media expert, maybe go to a big firm that you can learn from like top talent in that. However, if you're interested in getting like a wide array of doing something different every day, learning lots of different skills, then a smaller company might be more interesting for you. I've enjoyed both. I personally prefer actually working at medium to small companies. That's just the culture fit I like better. That to being said, I think you can find small teams in big companies that can do the same thing.
okay, yeah. Well, in the big companies, you can find more specialized tasks, right? So, but in the small one, as you said, you can wear a lot of kind of hats, and it's, yeah, and maybe also it depends in what stage of your career you are, right?
Right.
So it's yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, so the ninth question is: do you think networking is a skill to be considered in the marketing communication field?
Yes, I think networking is a skill to be considered in any field, specifically in the marketing field, specifically if you're looking at getting a job in the Waterloo region. Waterloo region is extremely small and everyone knows everyone, specifically in the marketing field. If you don't know them, someone else, you're like 2 connections away from someone, right? And so I think networking is huge because that is how jobs are found and how you're able to learn in the marketing field in specifically Waterloo region.
There are some students that yeah, they look the Waterloo region as a, you know, it's a technological hub for Canada, and but some of them are looking for Toronto. So Toronto is a big city. So in terms of the size of the city, yeah, what do you think about it?
I still think networking is important in Toronto, specifically if you're looking for like key firms. That's a lot of how jobs are done is like through networking. I also think networking allows you to find mentors as well as it allows you to find a good support group as well. For example, in my job, if I don't know something, I go to my network and I'm able to actually pull that information. So it's not necessarily even when you think about Toronto networking in terms of like getting a job, but also just getting support so you're able to increase your knowledge or fill the gaps of where your knowledge lacks.
Nice. Okay. So finally, our 10th question: if you could please give the audience a piece of advice, what would it be? Remember, we are talking with international students, and well, they will graduate soon.
Enjoy the experience. I know that sounds pretty cliche, but I'm sure you're all very stressed about finding jobs, stressed about being done your almost schooling, stressed about supporting your family. that sometimes you forget to enjoy the process. So enjoy it. Like, you went into this program because you like marketing, you're going into a strategic communication role, hopefully. So enjoy it, learn what you can along the steps, but take a step back and it will all work out. So just enjoy the process.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your advice. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm glad to be talking to you right now. And well, I think that I'm sure there's a lot of marketing students who will find this conversation. We will find a lot of value in our conversation. So, and well, that's it. I don't want to consume more your time. And well, for those who are listening, don't forget to tune every Wednesday at noon, the #1 marketing podcast in Canada, Get Into the Funnel. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here, and see you soon.
Thank you so much for hosting me, and enjoy the rest of your day.